What's up guys, my name is Brandon, welcome to Quick Flicks. Today, we are covering Zombieland, directed by Ruben Fleischer, releasing in 2009. Fleischer has stated that his inspiration to create this film sprouted from the cult classic Shaun of the Dead, which if you haven't seen it, it's the very first video I ever uploaded, but I plan on remaking it eventually. Zombieland takes place in the United States, where a man ate a mad cow disease burger which evolved into mad zombie disease and quickly took over the entire world. Our main protagonist is Columbus, played by Jesse Eisenberg, a gaming nerd who was one of the few people to make it far into the apocalypse, via a list of rules to help him survive in this overrun world. However, he's not alone, he comes across a few other survivors, so let's find out who and get to the movie. The movie opens up with the guy in front of the Capitol building being attacked by a hungry zombie, followed by a voiceover from Columbus. He explains his list of rules, the first one being cardio, showing a heftier man being chased down with ease by a zombie. He goes on to show the chaos around the world and the collapse of society. We learn a few more rules, such as rule number 2, double tap. If you're unsure that a zombie is actually dead, don't hesitate, put another one in that guy's head. Rule number 3, beware of bathrooms or you may get killed while doing a poo. And rule number 4, fasten them seatbelts or... This transitions into a very cool opening, showing off the end of the world and people dying to the zombies, while From Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica plays. I definitely recommend checking it out, it's a lot of fun. Afterward, we finally meet our protagonist Columbus. He's pumping gas in Garland, Texas, when his irritable bowel syndrome tells him it's time to go number 2. He finds the restroom, but a zombie breaks out as he goes to open it. While he's running away, another Zed comes from nowhere and chases him as well. He runs in a circle and tries unlocking his car, but drops his keys. He loops around one more time, a cool cardio graphic showing on the ground. He picks up his keys and realizes the door is unlocked. To me, it's little things like this that are hilarious throughout the movie. He gets in, feeling relieved when a Zed pops out from the back seat, causing Columbus to crash. The zombie is ejected through the front windshield, Columbus freaking out, resulting in him using the windshield wipers to try and get him off, but eventually loads his double barrel and shoots him. He gets out and makes sure to double tap that fool. The next day, we see Columbus strolling across a vehicle-abandoned highway, where we see rule number 7, travel light. He turns around to see an SUV racing toward him. He prepares to the best of his ability, hiding behind a bike. The SUV comes to a stop, and a big Popeye cowboy hat wearing man, played by Woody Harrelson, gets out of the vehicle. They have a standoff for a moment, Columbus appearing very nervous. I just want to say, Jesse Eisenberg does great in this film. Fun fact, Woody Harrelson was a large reason he got the role, stating that every other candidate who auditioned didn't come nearly close to the talent of Jesse Eisenberg. Columbus throws up the hitchhiker sign, Tallahassee offering to give him a lift. Columbus gets in, checks the back seat, that being another rule, Tallahassee then pouring him a drink that he thoroughly enjoys, and share their destination with each other. Tallahassee is on his way to Tallahassee, and Columbus is on his way home to find his parents in Columbus. Tallahassee doesn't care to know names, so they just refer to each other as their destinations. Tallahassee agrees to give him a ride to at least Texarkana, and the two set off into the world. They eventually come across a hostess truck to satisfy Tallahassee's Twinkie obsession, but unfortunately for him, it's jam-packed with snowballs. On the way back up, Columbus lets Tal know that he needs to take the Browns to the Super Bowl, so they find a public restroom, and Columbus does poo, while worrying about his biggest fears, clowns. We get a flashback to Columbus at the start of the apocalypse. He pretty much eats pizza, drinks Code Red, which is 100% the best flavor of Mountain Dew, there's absolutely no debating that, and plays World of Warcraft. While sipping, he spills some on himself. He goes to clean it up when his neighbor 406 starts pounding on his door due to his little crush on her. He has no problem helping her out. He lets her in and chats with her about what just went down. 406 shaken up, talking about a homeless man who just sprinted at her and tried to bite her out on the streets. She snuggles up to Columbus and the two pass out. Columbus is awoken to a zombified 406. He freaks out and runs to the kitchen, trying to calm her down. He picks up a blender, but...
It's okay, I don't want to hurt you, but... Shit.
He then runs to his bedroom and tries shutting the door on her, but just breaks her ankle. He then gets to the bathroom, where she pushes him down, but he puts the shower curtain over her head and sprays her with some cleaner, then standing up and hitting her with a toilet tank lid and leaving the room. That doesn't kill her though, and she charges at him for more, but he lays her out with one good swing to the dome, finally killing her. Back in present time, the two are driving when Tallahassee swings his door open, hitting a zombie on the street. Definitely a memorable moment in the movie, and has even been replicated in video games, such as State of Decay. They arrive at a grocery store store in hopes of finding Twinkies, but are greeted to quite a few zombies. Tallahassee kills one with a banjo and saves Columbus, killing another with a CGI baseball bat. The CGI work done for this scene isn't really advanced, but it's pretty cool. Another fun fact, the grocery store is actually fake. They used photos of products to make the store feel full, similar to the interview when James Franco finds out that the grocery store is actually fake. They did this as it was a lot cheaper than renting out an actual grocery store for a few days. The dudes run into one more zombie and give it a whittle haircut. After the massacre, they run into a random woman, played by a 20-year-old Emma Stone, telling them to come quick. In the back, they meet her supposedly bitten sister, played by Abigail Breslin. The ladies introduce themselves as Wichita and Little Rock. They tell the guys that Little Rock wants to be shot to prevent turning into a zombie. They hand the gun off to Wichita to do the shooting, but bad mistake, she turns it on them, demanding all of their weapons, supplies, and vehicle. The girls then take off, leaving them behind. On the road, they discuss their plans to get to Pacific Playland, which is supposedly zombie-free. I don't know, that sounds a little weird. An amusement park being zombie-free? I don't know, that sounds a little bit silly to me. On the other hand, the guys are making their way through the town when Tallahassee takes out his anger on a minivan, appearing to have pulled something. Probably should have taken notes from Columbus there. Shortly after, Tal sees a yellow Hummer in the distance and sprints for it. He opens the driver's side door to find a pair of hands left on the steering wheel, sending Columbus a very important message with them. They find an entire arsenal of weaponry in the back seat, and Tal takes some time to create a lot of noise and waste a lot of bullets. He paints the number 3 on the side in honor of Dale Earnhardt and takes off, searching for the girls, but Columbus suggests that they just forget about him and head home. Tal takes time to tell him about his puppy named Buck that got eaten by zombies, so he really has no home to go back to. They eventually come across the original caddy, left abandoned. Tallahassee goes to check it out, finding no one, and alerts Columbus to come pick him up. When Tallahassee gets in, Little Rock pops up from the back seat and holds them both at gunpoint. She demands Columbus to honk the horn, alerting Wichita to come on out and take over the situation. The girls let the guys ride with them, and they all cruise down the road. We then cut to a flashback of the girls' past. Wichita is on the ground, searching for her supposed wedding ring, getting the attention of the clerk there. You know, the one who died from not following rule number 3. He offers to help her look for it, Wichita then telling him that she'll give him a reward of $3,000 if he ships it to her. He says for show, and she skedaddles on out of there. Moments later, he notices Little Rock inspecting a ring she just found, and he asks for it back, but she requests a reward in return. He gives her the entire cash register, and she gets on out of there and gets in the car with Wichita. Little schemers these girls are. Back in present time, Columbus thanks the girls for not leaving them stranded, Tallahassee taking advantage of the moment and grabbing his gun back from Little Rock. He has a little standoff with Wichita, but Columbus blows up, telling them to stop acting like children, the two obliging. The ladies then open up a little bit, telling them they are heading to Pacific Playland. Columbus then telling them that he's on his way to Columbus. Wichita, not caring, tells him it's burned to the ground, but she feels a little bit bad for telling him that, and they decide to help him get there anyway. They continue down the road for some hours when Wichita finds a truck, telling Columbus that he can use that to find his parents. Columbus, getting ready to leave, looks at Wichita, crushing on her, and doesn't want to pass up an opportunity with her, and decides to stay with them. They then collectively decide they need a stretch and pull over at a nearby shop. However, before entering, Tal dings a little bell, alerting a zombie in the store who runs right at them. But Tallahassee got that swift reaction time and puts him down. But unfortunately for him, that's not Zombie Kill of the Week, which is awarded to Sister Cynthia Knickerbocker, who flattened a zombie with a piano. While sniffing some perfume, Tallahassee realizes Columbus's crush on Wichita. Columbus gets embarrassed and sprays him. Tallahassee, definitely not liking that, gives him 45% power, making him knock over a little pot. Tallahassee then convinces everyone to release some built-up anger and destroy the entire store. They all love that idea and bring that place down. Just enjoying the little things, man. They then leave, heading for California, where we get a montage of the group taking turns driving and joking around, having fun. They finally get to Cali, and their first destination is the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They pull over, grabbing a celebrity house map and shooting some zombies in the process, then proceeding to follow the map to the one and only Bill Murray's kingdom. They walk in and admire the beauty of the house. After an important search for Twinkies fails,
no Twinkies.
Get fucked!
they break off into groups of 2. Tal and Wichita search one side of the house, while Little Rock and Columbus take the other half. They come across a theater, where Columbus decides to show Little Rock who Bill Murray is. Tal and Wichita jam to the Ghostbusters theme when she hits a golf ball straight at him, knocking him down. He looks up to see a supposed zombified Bill Murray, but Wichita whacks him with a club, Bill screaming in pain. Thank the Lords, Bill Murray's okay, everyone.
God damn it, Bill fucking Murray!
He tells him he dresses like that to prevent other zombies from attacking him. They then decide to have some fun, playing Ghostbusters and getting blazed, man. They then decide to prank Columbus, who is watching Ghostbusters with Little Rock, sending Bill in there and acting like a zombie. Columbus freaks out and grabs his gun, shooting Bill right in the torso. He quickly finds out he was still human and apologizes, but that don't matter, and Bill slowly fades away. Later that night, they play some Monopoly and discuss some of the best and worst things about Zombieland. Tallahassee saying losing Buck was by far the worst thing, and gets quite emotional. The more he talks about Buck, the more Columbus realizes Buck wasn't actually a puppy, but Tallahassee's son. Aw, sad. The group is finally starting to really open up and connect with each other. Tal teaches Little Rock how to aim and shoot a gun, while Columbus and Wichita get a bit flirty, dancing with each other, and about to smooch when Tallahassee interrupts, telling them they need help moving the couch to build a fort. The next morning, the guys awake to the ladies leaving, once again, peeing off Columbus quite a bit. The ladies reiterate not to trust anyone except each other, feeling like they got too comfortable with the guys. They eventually make their way to Pacific Playland, the supposed zombie-free amusement park. They drive on in and turn on the park rides and lights. How on earth do they think this is even remotely an okay idea? Anyway, zombies from just a few hundred feet away realize this and sprint toward the park. Meanwhile, the dudes are getting ready to separate. Columbus is going to find the ladies because of his love for Wichita, and Tallahassee is planning on going to Mexico. Tal gives him a heartfelt goodbye.
That'll do, pig. That's the worst goodbye I've ever heard. And you stole it from a movie.
And Columbus takes off like a BA. Tal chuckles and decides to pick him up and help him out with the ladies. Back at Pacific Playland, the girls are having fun, riding rides, when they notice a horde on the way. They hop off the ride and run to their Jeep, dozens of Zeds following behind. They barely make it in and get swarmed quickly. Wichita takes off and sends the Jeep into the ocean, managing to bail out on time. They scramble together, grabbing their guns when they notice millions more on their way. Little Rock recommends the dropper ride, which goodness, I really don't like those. The two blast zombies and make their way to the ride. They hop on and shoot up and proceed to fall and go up a few times. When it's time for the ride to come to a halt, Little Rock uses Tallahassee's breathing techniques that he taught her earlier and shoots the control box, stopping the ride in its tracks, both of them feeling relieved. The guys show up, seeing the place surrounded by zombies. Tal don't care though. It's like he's just playing a video game, mowing all of them down. They come to a stop, noticing the Jeep is chilling in the water, Columbus thinking they died, but the ladies yell for him, giving him a little smile. Tal, on the other hand, is preparing to take on the horde and gears up. He blows an air horn, attracting the majority of Zeds to him. Columbus goes to save the ladies, but a few Zeds break off, chasing him. He for some reason runs into a haunted house, which most definitely would be terrifying in this situation, but it's cool, he kills him. Meanwhile, Tallahassee is having a blast, hopping on and off different rides, and mowing down zombies. He eventually jumps into a prize booth and locks all of the windows. He sets some magazines on the table, takes them all on, dual-wielding some pistols. I'm sure everyone who watched this movie thought he was gonna die here, but nah, he kills literally all of them. Columbus finally makes his way to the ladies and faces his biggest fear yet. Because of his love for Wichita, he decides to break a rule of his and grabs a mallet, knocking this fool to the ground and crushing his skull. My favorite part is the little nose squeak. Columbus hits the emergency brake, bringing the girls and one crawling zombie down. He unbuckles them, receiving a well-earned hug, a smooch session, and even Wichita's real name, Krista. After, Columbus goes to find Tal in the snack shop, who is having a breakdown from not finding a Twinkie. They hear the car turn on outside, and see the girls jetting out of there once again. The dudes running out in disbelief, but the ladies stop, just fooling with them, and Little Rock tosses Tallahassee a Twinkie, fulfilling his ever-loving desire. The two get in the car, and they all get on out of there, and the movie ends. Next week, we're gonna cover the sequel, Zombieland Double Tap, coming out a decade after the first. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the movie, and I'll see you guys in the next one.